field, and Swisher all the way to the wall. Cabrera around third. He will score. Young heads into second. RBI double, and the Tigers take a 5-4 lead in the 12th.
Sunday morning, everybody. Game 1 of the ALCS is in the books. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this hour-long post-game edition of Tigers Live. Along with Craig Monroe, I'm Mickey York. 6-4, the final in 12. The Tigers strike first in the series. Mario Mpemba and Rod Allen are here as well. And guys, I have a headache. Simo, did that all really just happen?
Did you ride that roller coaster? I mean, I was up, excited, and then I was down, and now all of a sudden I'm excited again, Mick.
Hey, look, there's no doubt that the two heroes in this one tonight have to be Dotel and Smiley. These two guys came out after that devastating ninth-inning meltdown by Jose Valverde. What they did was able to keep this game going and get the big fellas up in the 12th inning, where Miguel Cabrera started the big rally with a base on balls, and they eventually punched in a couple of runs.
Well, it took a little longer than they anticipated that it would take, and of course, Valverde, he imploded down the stretch once again, but the Tigers most definitely will take this win tonight. It's a big, big win for them.
Oh, we'll get to Valverde in just a moment. Let's begin by looking back at tonight's wild highlights presented by Wallside Windows. Game 1 of the ALCS between the Tigers and Yankees started sometime Saturday night. Big crowd on hand to take this one, and actually a lot of empty seats in Yankee Stadium at the start of the night. The Yankees are threatening in the first, but A-Rod, who had a miserable ALDS, drills this to short. Great play by Peralta to get Ibanez at second, and the Tigers get out of the inning unscathed. In the second, Pfister playing with fire again. The bag's full when Robinson Cano hits one right back at Pfister. Ricochets to Peralta, who barehands it and beats Cano at first. Tigers escape again, and we're scoreless after 2. Still no score to start the 6th when the Tigers finally break the seal. After an Austin Jackson triple, Prince Fielder would get him home on a single to center. 1-0 Tigers. And then Delman Young comes up, and he'll hit a little flare to right field. And Rod, how does Miggy score on this?
Miguel Cabrera is not the fastest base runner on the Tigers team, but he's the most efficient. He gets the best jumps when he's on base.
2-0 Tigers at that point. Bottom half, Pfister in another bases loaded jam. This time with just one out, he gets Curtis Granderson swinging for the second out of the inning. And then he'll... The game, Pfister pitches out of a bases loaded jam. To the 8th we go. And who's at the plate, Simo?
My guy, Ben Keith, Delman Young, drives one down the left field line.
His 6th postseason home run as a Tiger, a new franchise record, passing the likes of Hank Greenberg and some guy named Craig Monroe. 3-0 Tigers, and then they get more with 2 outs. The rookie, Avisail Garcia, bangs this into center. Peralta scores to make it 4-0. To the 9th, Jose Valverde in for the final 3 outs. Runner on second, and Ichiro turns on one, sends it out to right, a 2-run shot, and just like that, the Tigers lead cut in half at 4-2. Now 2 outs in the 9th with a tying run at the plate. Here comes Raul Ibanez, the hero from the ALDS against the Orioles. Keep it away from him already. That tied the game. The Yankees score 4 in the 9th, all off Valverde. He gets lifted, but it's too late, and we're going to extras. To the 12th inning we go. Delman Young again hits one hard to right. Nick Swisher not able to make a play on it. Goes all the way to the wall. That scores Cabrera, and the Tigers reclaim the lead at 5-4. They need as many as they can get, and they would get one more. Andy Dirks right back to the pitcher. The Yanks can't make a play on it. Dom Kelly comes in to score. Tigers up 6-4. So that takes it to the bottom of the 12th. Drew Smiley, the rookie, back out there to finish it, and it's a 1-2-3-12. Gets Brett Gardner to ground out the second to end it. And finally, at a little after 1 o'clock in the morning, the Tigers win Game 1, a game they had sewed up hours ago. Here's a look at tonight's Honda game summary. Pfister did his best Houdini impersonation, wiggling out of 3 bases loaded jams tonight. Struck out 5, but also walked a season-high tying 4. The Tigers' 3, 4, 5, and 6 hitters combined for 10 of the Tigers' 15 hits tonight. And the Tigers, after it's all said and done, have yet to trail in a postseason series yet. in these playoffs. All right, let's bring Mario, Rod, and Craig back in here now, guys, and we will get to Jose Valverde, as I said, in a moment, but let's begin with Delman Young. SEMO, New York was a place where he had his worst moment of the season. Now it's a place where he has his best night of the season. The contrast is as startling as the outcome of this game.
Well, it's the postseason now, Mick, and obviously we know how well Delman played last year and how he came up big for this team. And once again, he showed up again when I thought he would, because you know what? He's been swinging the bat. He's a very aggressive hitter, but when he gets pitches in the zone, he does some damage. Look at here. This will make, yeah, he gets jammed, but he gets rewarded for standing inside the ball. That's going to look like a line drive in the scorecard tonight when we look at it. Here in the 8th, Derek Lowe tries to come in with that two-seam fastball, left it out over the plate. Delman pulls his hands in and drives one down the left field line for a homer. Not tying me, he's beating me for the most home runs in Tiger history, which congratulations, Delman Young. But then again, in the 12th inning, down and away, we talked about how well he drives the ball to right center. Great example here on a 2-0 pitch. Didn't pull off, stayed on it, stayed through it, and drove a really big run in to go ahead, and that would end up being the game-winning run for Delman Young.
Mario, Rod, 3 for 6 with 3 RBI for Delman Young tonight. Not bad.
You cannot tell me that Craig Monroe is not just a little bit chapped at the fact that his record has gone by the wayside. Just a little bit. Nothing?
Nothing. Come on, I'm excited for him.
Hey, I believe Craig when he says he's excited for it. Delman Young obviously was important in the series, Rod. We've talked about it over and over because of the fact that he's batting behind Prince Fielder, and again, he just comes through in a big, big spot.
You know, not only this year, but last year he was very vital to the team's success. He was batting ahead of Miguel Cabrera at that time, and he was getting lots of pitches to hit, and he didn't miss any of those pitches. Now he's batting behind Prince Fielder. When they decide to pitch around Prince Fielder, Delman's come up in some situations where he's been able to do some damage, and he has done some damage in the series.
Yeah, and how about the spot Drew Smiley was in tonight and the way he responded, Rod?
Well, I really like what Drew Smiley has done, and one of the things that Drew Smiley really learned is earlier this year when he was in New York, he had a really good start. As a matter of fact, he won his first Major League game in very hostile environment, and I think that Drew Smiley kind of took something from the beginning of the season, and he transferred that into the postseason this year. Take a look at what Smiley was able to do against the Yankees really early this year. Spotting the fastball, down and away. These are some good hitters. This is the beginning of the year as well. The Yankees were fresh. They were healthy. They had their legs underneath them. But the young Drew Smiley went into the Bronx and just absolutely dealt for his first Major League win. So it's very, very special for Drew Smiley to do that tonight.
All right, guys, as we talked about, we'll get to Jose Valverde in a moment, but right now we want to go back to New York. John Keating has caught up with the offensive hero of the night for the Detroit Tigers, Delman Young.
All right, Mick, thanks. He's the hitting star in this one. As ball games go, this was about as wild as they get.
Yeah, I think every playoff game so far in Major League Baseball has had some wild things going on. You know, last night we all watched the Washington game, and then tonight, unfortunately, it happened against us. But fortunately enough, we're able to lead with a tie, and then we're able to put some zeros up on the board again, and able to get some runs in the 12.
What kinds of things are said to Papa Grande as he comes off? Because you know how much this game hurts.
Yeah, but Papa Grande's a big leaguer. It's happened before. You know, he's had some big saves throughout his career. Hopefully he can just put this game behind him, make a few adjustments, and come out here and say a situation comes where we need to get some outs, come and get some outs.
It's only game one, but was there a huge momentum swing in this one, even over the course of this ball game?
No.
In the series?
I didn't really see it. You know, they tied up the game. It'd be different if they scored the 5th run. But we, you know, fortunately we had Doug go out there and throw great, and you know, the bullpen threw great, and then Drew Smiley came out and showed more than he's a 22-year-old rookie out there and pitched great.
Well done. Enjoy this.
Thank you.
Delman Young, back to you, Mick, in the Call Sam Studios.
All right, John, thank you very much. He came in hitting .235 in the postseason, but now hitting .500, gets up that average of .304 with 5 RBI after the 3 for 6 effort tonight. He is your Tigers player, Arby's player of the game after that performance this evening. All right, well, here we go. Let's get into it. The important thing, of course, is that the Tigers won the ball game. At the end of the day, that's all they had to do. But for the second time in this postseason, Jose Valverde blows a lead. Of course, it didn't cost the Tigers the game, but Mario, Rod, I mean, how do you continue to go with him from here on forward?
Well, that's something Jim Leland's going to have to consider right now. He's a very loyal manager, and he wants to put guys in the best position to succeed. And Valverde has done it all season long. He did it all season last year as well. But as you look forward and go forward now, Rod, Jim Leland's got some tough decisions to make. Who do you have close out ball games in tight ball games late? And even beyond that, situations like tonight, 4-run lead in the 9th inning, who do you pitch?
Well, I don't know who he's going to pitch, but it can't be Valverde. Valverde has given it up in the last couple of times that he's been out there. He's given up a total of 7 runs, and today his command just wasn't good once again. Even when he was able to get ahead of some of these Yankees hitters, he still left pitches right over the heart of the dish. He's not pitching with the same kind of confidence that he pitches with when he's going well. You could tell he just didn't have it. 93, 94 with his fastball, didn't get up to 95, 96, and as the end result, 2 big flies in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Nothing more demoralizing to an entire team than when you have a closer that goes out and does that.
Well, what he's definitely going through right now, it's all mental, guys. I mean, obviously, he's not making the pitches, but it's kind of now that he hasn't had that success, Mick, it's kind of getting in his head right now. And now he's trying a little bit too hard. He's leaving balls over the heart of the plate, and they're just making him pay.
And we saw at one point Miguel Cabrera take out his frustrations on the water cooler after that, after Jose blew it. I mean, it ends up taking its toll on the team as well.
No, it does. And that's the one thing, though, that as a teammate, though, you have to be there for him. Yeah, he's going through a rough period, but you have to pick him up, pat him on his back, say, hey, get him next time. But it's also tough to do, Mick, because it stings when you put it on the line all game long and then you don't end up getting the win, or actually in their case today they got the win, but it puts you in a tough situation as a teammate sometimes.
Yeah, so more questions to be answered in regards to Jose Valverde and what the Tigers will do with the back end of their bullpen going forward. But some breaking news coming in from New York tonight. You saw Derek Jeter helped off the field there in the 12th inning. It's been confirmed he has a fractured ankle, so probably won't see Derek Jeter for the remainder of this series. All right, you will see more Tigers Live, though. Still a lot more to come after this marathon in the Big Apple tonight. We'll head into the Tigers clubhouse, more interviews with John Keating, and we'll get Jim Leland's reaction to this one and what he plans to do with his bullpen going forward when we come back. Playoff games, but they got a home run from Delman Young tonight, and it provided some much-needed breathing room at the time. Ultimately, that wasn't enough, but his RBI double in the 12th was, and then Andy Dirks tacked on a run with an infield hit in the 12th as well, and he's with John Keating now as we send you back to New York.
All right, Mick, thanks. Can you put this one into words?
It was a roller coaster. That's about all you can describe it as. You know, we had the lead for the game, the whole game there in the 9th. They came back and tied it, and then took us a couple more innings. Scrapped 2 together. You know, our guys out of the bullpen gave us a chance there in extra innings. You know, they kept them. They didn't let them score. So we got the W.
You had a 4-0 lead going into the 9th. At that point, you think it's just a matter of putting this thing away. How much does it take the wind out of your sails?
Oh, it does a little bit, you know. But
a little bit, that's it?
But because you got to keep playing, because, you know, it's a tie ball game, and this is a big ball game. It's not like it's just a regular season game. So you got to keep going and keep battling, and that's what we did, and we came out on top.
In light of how you won this one, how much of a boost does this give you in this series?
Well, it's a boost, you know, but both teams had to use a lot of their bullpen, which I don't know how good that's going to be. We'll see how it all pans out, you know.
Andy, thanks.
Thank you.
Andy Dirks headed into the Tigers clubhouse that will be mostly relieved as they smile, Mick.
Yeah, John, no doubt. Thank you very much. And you know, it didn't look good there in the late stages of the inning. No. The Yankees, with all their late inning magic this year, 45 come from behind wins during the regular season. They had scored 11 runs in the 9th inning or later in the postseason. But you got to give the Tigers credit for digging this one out and gutting it out as well.
Oh, they're a scrappy little bunch. I mean, obviously we have some really good players when you talk about Miguel and Prince, but their attitude inside that clubhouse of that no quit kind of attitude where they get after, they're a confident bunch, and you got to give Jim Leland some credit for that. I've been in that clubhouse. I've been on his team. He's a confidence guy. He never goes up and down. He doesn't ride the roller coaster. He keeps his team ready to play.
But also, Craig, when you think about what this ball club has been through, the Tigers, of course, were 3 games back against the Chicago White Sox in that makeup game with 13 to go. They made up ground there. They lost that doubleheader. They were swept at home by Minnesota late. Bounced back from that. Of course, the meltdown against Oakland in Game 4, bounced back from that. And they did it again here tonight. So resiliency is certainly a word that you can use for this ball club.
Well, they've got a very talented team. When it starts with Justin Verlander and what he was able to do in Game 5 out in Oakland, you have Miguel Cabrera, you have guys like Prince Fielder, you've got a bunch of guys guys that bring their lunch pails to work every single day. Craig brought it up. Their manager's very good at keeping them on the course to get to where they need to be. And they just stepped up today. I mean, it didn't end the way they really wanted to as far as the ninth inning was concerned. But at the end of the day, they got a very important win in a very hostile environment.
Mario Rod, how many times have you said this season, I've never seen that before?
A million times.
And does this qualify in that department as well?
Well, I don't know. I think this is just a good ball club that believes they can still win a game. And, to get punched in the gut like they did here in the ninth inning tonight is certainly a situation where a lot of teams would fold. But, as the guys talked about on the telecast tonight, the longer this game went, you felt the momentum was kind of shifting to Detroit. Then Jeter left the ball game. They score a couple of runs, and all of a sudden you got yourself a win.
Yeah, Yankees aren't playing really good baseball right now. From an offensive standpoint, they are just really, really struggling as a team. They're just not getting it done. And I think the Tigers realize that their pitching, other than Valverde, was very good today. And I think they feel really good going into Game 2 tomorrow with the starter they have out there.
Yeah, the bottom line is you have a 1-0 series lead, and you already have that split that you came for in New York. All right, guys, we have plenty more to get to tonight on Tigers Live. But right now, as you might imagine, all smiles in that Tigers clubhouse, especially from Drew Smyly. How did the rookie come up big tonight? Gets the win in his first ever postseason appearance. We'll hear from him when Tigers Live continues. Tonight's game, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. He was absolutely sensational. In his first ever postseason appearance, he not only wins the game for the Tigers, he maybe ultimately saves their season as well. He now addressing the media as we send you into the clubhouse for tonight's Bell Tire player interview.
Is that as much fun as you've ever had in a baseball game?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, situation like that, you're coming in, all you can try to do is just, throw strikes and try to stay out hard of the play and, don't let them hit it hard. It worked out for me today.
Can you describe the nerves that you had playing in this setting, Yankee Stadium, and in a role that's not that familiar for you?
I mean, it's probably amped up a little bit, playoffs game on ALCS in Yankee Stadium, but, I mean, it's still the same game, so you just gotta control your emotions, take deep breaths, and go out there and do what you've done your whole life.
What was said in the bullpen after the ninth inning got away from your team?
I mean, it's a tie game, just a new game. We're still playing 0-0 at that point, so just got to go out and hold them, don't let them score. Try to be the first one to get the runs.
How important do you think this comeback win in this game after being up was for you guys?
It's huge. I mean, it's big momentum for us. Letting it get away from us in the ninth, and then just staying strong. Competing. All our hitters. Coming up big in the 12th. Dotel did a great job. Came in, shut it down. We just keep fighting. Now we 1-0. Have a big one tomorrow, and then take it back to Detroit.
True thing.
Well, Mario Rod, I mean, he's a cool customer. I don't know, maybe going forward, he's your answer in the late innings. He certainly handled himself well tonight.
Well, he could be. One of the lasting impressions I had from spring training this year is watching this kid late in spring training throw a game on the backfields at Tiger Town in Lakeland. He was trying to win the 5 spot in the rotation, 22 years old, just 1 year of experience at pro ball, and he just seemed so cool, calm, and collected. And Rod, I remember talking to him early in the season about that, and he said, when I pitch at Arkansas, I pitch in front of big crowds. SEC baseball is big-time baseball, but nothing like going into Yankee Stadium and doing what he did tonight, and even what he did earlier this year and getting his first win.
The Tigers, they knew they had a blue-chip player when the Oakland Athletics were asking for Drew Smyly after just 1 year of pro ball, when the Tigers were entertaining the thought of trading for Gio Gonzalez in the offseason. Of course, Gonzalez went to Washington and had a very good year, but they refused to give up Smyly for the reasons that we've watched this year. Kid with exposure. He got a good breaking ball, good fastball. He moves it around. He throws lots of strikes. That's one of the reasons why they failed to give him up, did not want to give him up.
Well, this was his first playoff appearance of his career, but likely not his last. Could play a big role for the Tigers going forward in these playoffs. All right, still much more to come here on Tigers Live. We will catch up with the skipper. We'll take you to Jim Leyland's post-game press conference, here from a relieved skipper tonight. We'll also take you back inside the clubhouse to have more from the players when we continue here from the Coliseum Studio.
Ball right field deep. Going back, Garcia at the fence. It's gone. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Jim Price has said that a lot so far in this postseason. Are you kidding me? Of course, he wasn't the only one thinking that. Raul Ibanez has now hit 3 home runs in the 9th inning or later in these playoffs, but that one only tied the game at the time, did not win it, fortunately, for the Yankees. 6-4 the final. The Tigers take game 1 in 12 innings in the Bronx. But the question is, what's Jim Leyland going to do now? 7 of the last 8 runs allowed by Tigers pitchers have been allowed by Jose Valverde. As you might imagine, a lot of the questions being directed at the skipper tonight involve his closer. He's at the podium now as we take you to his post-game press conference in New York.
Well, we talked about this from spring training on. I didn't know we'd have to take that many, but we've been taking punches all year. And I said if we're going to be good enough, we got to be able to take a punch. And we took a big punch. I mean, we took a right cross in that 9th inning, but we survived it.
Len? Jim, we've got to wade into this Valverde thing pretty seriously.
You say what?
We've got to wade into the Valverde crisis pretty seriously. Were you close to pulling him at any point in the 9th? And can you trust him, frankly, in a closer role the remainder of this series?
First of all, I had Dotel up because there were some things I didn't really like. And the last part of that question, I wouldn't discuss. We're going to discuss this as a staff, and now's not the time to discuss it because we really haven't made any decisions. We just want to put our heads together and discuss it first, Lynn, to be honest with you. And, you know, have a little get-together with the coaching staff and talk about it. We're certainly going to talk about it, but I really don't have any final information on it just yet because we haven't discussed it, but it will be something that we discuss.
Richard?
Hey, Jim, when you got Dotel up, why did you stay with Valverde? How close did you come to making a move there?
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, that's one of those things, you know. He's been the closer. He had a rough outing in Oakland, and obviously had a rough outing tonight. That's why we're going to have a discussion. But Ibanez has had pretty good success off Dotel, and not in a lot of at-bats, but pretty good success. Thought he might charge a fastball off him as well, so not really in that situation, to be exact. But like I said, we need to put our heads together as a staff and sit down and talk, and I'm sure by my press conference tomorrow prior to the game, I'll have more information for you. I'm not ducking anything right now because we need to sit down and talk. There's no question about that. It's a very legitimate question, but I just don't have an answer for you at this time. But I will by my pregame press conference tomorrow.
Jason?
Jim, usually when you use terms like things you don't like,
You say what?
when you use the term things you don't like, you usually mean something physical. Was there something physical you noticed out of Valverde that kind of bothered you?
I'm not trying to avoid these questions. Like I said, we're going to put our heads together. I'm going to talk with him. We're going to talk with the staff and try to figure out if there's something going on that maybe is being camouflaged, maybe is, maybe isn't. So I don't want to get carried away at this press conference until we have more information. And like I said, I'll have everything will be cleared up for everybody by the time you know, I come in here before the game tomorrow.
Okay, just a couple more, John.
Jim, I realize you were in the middle of a winning rally there in the 12th, but what did you think when you saw Jeter get carried off the field there?
Well, you know, when you think of postseason, you think of Derek Jeter. So, you know, I'm the opposing manager, but fortunately over the years, I think there's been a tremendous mutual respect, and I'm very sorry about it. I'm very sorry to hear about it. And
Yeah, Derek Jeter, it was revealed, has a fractured ankle, and Jim Leyland has a fractured bullpen. No final decisions on Valverde. It seems rather apparent, though, at this point. Does Valverde think he's lost his job? We will hear from Papa Grande when we come back. 150 in these playoffs. Certainly that's not what you want from your closer, although he may have lost that title after this performance tonight. John Keating is caught up with Papa as we take you inside the Tigers clubhouse.
All right, all of Detroit wants to know, in your opinion, what didn't go well for you? What went wrong out there tonight?
You know, today, you know, I missed a couple pitching. I mean, the other day in Oakland, I know this guy done the job. I mean, today, and Suzuki, Matisha, Ibanez, he done the job too. But I missed a couple pitches. I mean, it's not like me. I mean, but you have to do it credit for the hitter. But it's not you can do. Thank God, I mean, Octavio and Smiley do a study job. I mean, pick him up, and my team win. You know, it's awesome all the time when you win the first game, and the Tigers do it.
All right, in light of what happened in Oakland, when you see Ibanez hit it out, what's going through your head? How much does your heart begin to hurt?
It's a lot, you know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure time. And I mean, when Ibanez do the home run to me, right now, I have a lot of confidence from my teammate, and I know all these guys can do it. I mean, with the time we put Octavio in my inning, I know this guy played for a long time. Smiley, it's the first time in the postseason, and he do a stunning job. And this, I mean, I appreciate what he do to me. I appreciate what he do for not only for me, it's not for the whole team and the whole fans in Detroit.
Are you ready to go tomorrow if needed?
You know what? I'll be ready every single day. I mean, this will happen. The Tiger pay me. This will happen. I mean, I have to do it for my family and for all the friends in Detroit.
Jose, thank you.
I think, guys.
I like Jose, I do personally, and he's a stand-up guy for addressing John Keating there after a tough situation tonight. But Mario, Rod, we heard Jim Leland say, look, he's got some things to discuss with his coaching staff in regards to Valverde going forward. But at this point, what is there to discuss?
I don't think there's a whole lot to discuss. And, you know, first I want to say, you know, say what you want about Jose Valverde. He is answering the questions and not shying away from the camera after blowing up twice in Oakland and now in New York. But going forward, I'm not sure what you talk about in this, Rod. I mean, obviously, if you're Jim Leland and Jeff Jones, you chat about why he gave up those leads. But I think you probably have to make a change.
You know, Papa Grande talked about the fact that when he blew that save in Oakland, that was the most difficult save of his career. This has to be right up there with that blown save in Oakland as well. And the one thing the Tigers really don't have on their roster, they really don't have any more closers. I mean, closers are different guys. We've seen guys over the years that try to get elevated to the closer's role and just don't get the job done. They may be better than Valverde at this particular time, but closers is not an easy position to have on your club, and sometimes they do blow the leads.
So, Simo, to Rod's point, if Valverde is not going to be your closer, what's the solution? Do you close by committee in this case?
Well, maybe. Well, at this point, they may have to. But knowing Jim, I mean, they're going to powwow and they're going to talk about it. But at the end of the day, Valverde is the closer. Yes, he's having some rough time. He's not going out and getting it done, not making quality pitches. But that's something that we're going to just have to wait and see what happens.
It'd be nice if the Tigers can just avoid these closing situations altogether. But of course, we know in playoff baseball that's not likely to happen. All right, still much more to come here on Tigers Live. Up next, we'll head you back into the clubhouse. More reaction to this win from the Tigers tonight. The rookie, Avisail Garcia, coming through in a big spot this evening. We'll hear from him as we continue. Right, that Nick Swisher couldn't get a hold of, and that scores the game-winning run as the Tigers take it 6-4 in a bizarre 12-inning game tonight in the Bronx. And lost in all of that wackiness tonight was a strong outing from Doug Fister. Mario Rod, his ability to get out of bases loaded jams tonight was uncanny.
Yeah, it wasn't, I guess, a sharp Doug Fister early. He walked 4, which equaled his season high this year, but it seemed like, Rod, when he had to make his pitch, he did. And it looked like, even though there were base runners on all night long, that they had the Yankees, that is, some really uncomfortable at-bats.
You know, one of the things that Jim Leland does that Sparky Anderson also did when he was managing the Tigers and the Cincinnati Reds, they'll allow their starting pitcher to pitch out of a couple of jams, but they won't allow them to pitch out of that third jam. Jim Leland, he did allow Fister to do that, and it was the 6th inning. And one of the things that Jim also talks about is when his defense makes errors behind the pitchers haven't been able to pitch around those errors. But Doug Fister was able to do that. Infante could not get the ball out of his glove. And then you have Ibanez hitting one right over the head of fielders. So now you have second and third, and you have nobody out. And this is where Fister got busy. Doug made some incredible pitches to strike out 3 of the next 4 hitters to get out of this jam. And Jim didn't want to go to his bullpen. He could have went to Smiley. He could have went to Albuquerque. He could have went to a number of different guys, but he felt like Fister had it in him, and Fister rewarded that skipper with a stellar inning getting out of that jam. So that's one of the things that I take out of the game today is the fact that Jim left him out there through that 6th inning, and he got out of that jam.
And back in New York, Doug Fister has made his way to the podium along with Delman Young. Let's take you there now.
Everybody's here playing, from the first out to the last out, no matter what happens. Especially now in the series. We're here in the championship series. Guys aren't going to turn over. Guys aren't going to give up, and as long as we have one out under our belt, or one out remaining, we're going to give whatever we have to pull out a win, and that's what we did here tonight. Unfortunately, some balls don't bounce our way. Sometimes we have some hard times, but you know, that's what makes our team so special. We come together in a hard time, and we've gone through some ups and downs, so we know that we can come out of it on top, and that's exactly what we've done here tonight. We've fought, battled, and you know, luckily we came out on top tonight.
Jason.
Doug, where did that ball hit you, and how serious of an issue was it between innings? Did you have to get it attended to at all?
You know, I took it off the wrist, kind of in the thumb area, but you know, it was a little stiff, a little sore, but nothing too major. Went in, you know, checked it out, made sure nothing was, you know, too remarkably hurt, and you know, I put on some sleeves to keep warm, and went back out there. We went ahead and just said, we're going to try it, and as long as you can go, go, and that's kind of where we're at.
On the left center aisle.
Doug, can you talk about the defensive contributions you got from your teammates, especially Johnny Peralta early in the game?
That's what was working the most tonight. You know, Johnny made a great play to end the inning there with the bases loaded. You know, making that backhand stop, I believe it was A-Rod, and you know, he dive and play, throws to second base, gets the out. That's a huge run, or huge, you know, huge inning play right there for us. That kept our momentum going. We kept our, you know, the offense getting back up there. Or you look at Austin Jackson running down on that ball in center field up against the wall. I mean, it's plays like that that makes a difference, and everybody's playing together, and that's what makes us so special.
On this side again.
Doug, when you open up with 5 straight balls and a couple of walks, what's going through your mind at that point, and what sort of adjustment did you need to make after that?
You know, the adjustment that needed to be made was just really fine focus, getting back to basics and not worrying about anything, kind of taking a couple deep breaths. You know, nothing was really going through my head at the time. You know, it's a matter of, hey, let's go ahead and forget about it. Okay, so I've got runners on base. Now it's a matter of let's focus on keeping the ball down and let's make contact.
Lynn?
Dylan, can you take us through your 2 big hits? Whether you thought the first one was going to stay fair, was it going to go out, and then the ball that got by Swisher, how you read that one too?
The first one, I just was looking for a fastball, got it, and put a swing on it, and just heard the good part of the bat hit it finally. And I just didn't know if it was going to stay high enough because it had a lot of top spin and hook on it. And then the line drive to right, first I thought it was it's just going to hook right back to him. I don't know what happened. You know, just because of the series we had in Oakland where everything seemed to find leather. So, well, I didn't have my hopes up too high, but fortunately enough, it got by him, and Miggy was able to score.
Yeah, Miggy came in to score, and if you haven't picked up one of his bats yet, there's still time. This bat, officially licensed by Miguel Cabrera, Major League Baseball, commemorates Miggy's Triple Crown season. The offer is limited to 5,000 individually numbered bats. They're $110 plus shipping and handling. Call 866-280-BATS or log on to BigTimeBats.com. All right, up next, we'll take you right back to New York. FoxSports.com's John Paul Morosi joins John Keating to weigh in on the Jose Valverde situation when we come back right after this. Tigers 6-4 12-inning win in Game 1 over the Yankees in the American League Championship Series. John Paul Morosi from FoxSports.com is in New York to cover this game as well. He joins John Keating now with his reaction to what transpired tonight in the Bronx.
Mick, it's very late, and we're still trying to catch our breath. John Paul, what do you take away from this game? It was a wild one in Game 1 of the ALCS.
On the Tigers side, John, a lot of resiliency, I think, to come back and win an extra inning game in the Bronx. Before the last series, the last team to win here in the extra innings in the postseason was the '98 Cleveland Indians, so that was a big surprise there. I think the bullpen maybe even is deeper than the Tigers thought initially with that great outing by Drew Smyly. I think you may be hearing a change in the 9th inning there. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Valverde ended up getting bumped down into a lesser role. You got to wonder if maybe he's not 100% healthy right now. The Tigers are very fortunate they have Dotel there, who certainly can handle that job.
The other big story of the night in the Bronx is that Derek Jeter, the heart and soul of their team, is out, not just for a little while. He's done for the rest of the year. You just were in the Yankees clubhouse. What'd you hear?
John, it was a very somber scene in there. Joe Girardi announcing that Derek Jeter has a fractured left ankle out for the season, a 3-month recovery period. And Brian Cashman, speaking in front of dozens of reporters there in the Yankee clubhouse, basically saying that there was a large meeting in the trainer's room there, including Reggie Jackson, Joe Torre, Tino Martinez. It was like a lot of Yankee greats coming back, sensing the gravity of the situation, trying to be there with Derek Jeter during that time. Just a really tough moment for the Yankee franchise, not just for this team. Lots of irony here. Of course, if it weren't for Raul Ibanez's epic home run there was not a 12th inning for Derek Jeter to be injured in. So really a lot of wrenching feelings there on the Yankee side, and a tough move for them going forward. Looks like it'll probably be Jason Nix at shortstop in Game 2. They also have Eduardo Nunez, who will now be activated.
All right, we're going to sleep quick. That's our plan. We're right back with you on the Tigers Live pregame show at 3:30 tomorrow, Mick.
Thanks for reminding me, John. You know, outside of Jose Valverde, the Tigers bullpen didn't allow a run tonight. Octavio Dotel, a big part of that. We'll hear from the Tigers reliever when we continue right after this. Take Game 1, 6-4 in 12 innings tonight. The bullpen, a big part of the story for a lot of reasons. Some of the good reasons, Octavio Dotel, 1 1/3 tonight, and certainly a guy that if the Tigers needed to close, could do it, Craig.
No, I absolutely believe he can, Mick. Obviously, here's a guy that's a veteran guy that's been around the league. He's closed before. He knows about big situations. Obviously, he's pitched in a lot of big situations with St. Louis, playing the World Series last year and winning. He's a guy that I would see being more comfortable out there making some pitches and getting out of some jams late in the game.
Mario Rod, given his track record, it would seem to be a logical choice if that's indeed the direction the Tigers want to go.
Yeah, no doubt. I think he probably is the best choice. I mean, he did save games for the Oakland Athletics in a pennant stretch a few years back, so he's used to that. As Craig said, he pitched with the St. Louis Cardinals and pitched very well in the postseason last year. I think he definitely, because he is a veteran, has an opportunity, and if he gets that opportunity, he'll do well. I think that Jose Valverde probably will be taken out of that spot right now, and Dotel probably takes over.
I guess the one question I have for you and Craig is why did we skip over Benoit and go straight to Dotel as far as the closer is concerned?
Well, at least in my estimation, Benoit, I think in his couple of opportunities this year to save games, has struggled in that situation, and I don't know. I just have the feel that Dotel's probably your guy.
How about you, Craig?
Well, my reason, Rod, is because Benoit. Benoit's been one of the best setup guys in that 8th inning for the last 3 years. You don't want to change anything for him. He's comfortable in that role, so you leave him there.
Albuquerque, anybody? I mean, does he get a vote? I mean, I know he's young. It's a different situation, as we touched on, in a closed situation, but he appears to maybe be one of those guys in the future that could be a Tigers closer.
Yeah, I don't know about Albuquerque. I think that, yeah, maybe in the future he could be, but I don't think that Jim Leyland is quite there yet in trusting Albuquerque to the 9th inning. I think Roddy hasn't pitched all that much this year because of the injury, and I think that I'm just not sure he's comfortable doing that.
You know, Phil Koch, I know he's had a very difficult year, but he pitched very well today, and Jim might very well, depending on the matchups, whether it be a left-hander or a right-hander, he may give Koch an at-bat or two or get him out on the mound in the 9th inning against the opposition as well. So you just never know what's going to happen as far as the closer is concerned. And Jim, I don't think he knows right now.
Yeah, and I don't think we've solved any of their problems yet either. But Octavio Dotel, like we said, a good candidate. 109 career saves, and the media has caught up with him now as we take you back inside the Tigers clubhouse.
We're looking forward to give Detroit one championship one time, you know. And today was a tough game, but thanks God that we won it. And I'm looking forward just to keep playing a good baseball and see what happens.
How tough was it to go in there in the 9th inning after Valverde had his...
About his delivery, that it's way too slow. The tempo's not good at all. So we're going to have to make an adjustment. And I just hope that, you know, fans everywhere, but particularly in Detroit, don't have too short of memories. This guy saved 110 games out of 118 opportunities in the last 3 years as Detroit Tiger closer. That's pretty good. I understand the magnitude of it in the postseason. I understand that it's a normal thing to say, well, don't pitch him anymore. You can't close with him. That's easy to say. However, don't forget, those last 3 outs are very tough to get, and it takes a special cat in a lot of cases to do that. And the other thing about it is you can't pitch with 10 pitchers in the postseason. So Jose Valverde is going to be a very important part of this postseason.
Jose Valverde was perfect in save chances last year. Yes, there were some breathless ones, but he saved them all. And yet, in the wee hours of Sunday morning, after a second straight forgettable playoff post-game appearance late in the game, Valverde stood at his locker and he answered all the questions that were directed to him, recommitting himself to his team and his bullpen and his town.
I have a lot of confidence from my teammate, and I know all this guy can do it. I mean, with the time we put Octavio in my inning, I know this guy played for a long time. Smiley, it's the first time in the postseason, and he do a stunning job. And this, I mean, I appreciate what he did to me. I appreciate what he did for not only for me, it's not for the whole team and the whole fans in Detroit.
Papa Grande's postseason ERA is now 8.79. That's not good enough for a team that's now in baseball's Final Four and has dreams of perhaps winning it all. Who will close? Jim Leyland said the game will dictate that this afternoon. It'll be closer by committee here in the Bronx today. Nick?
All right, John, thank you very much. More with John Keating coming up from New York shortly. Well, Craig, Valverde insisted he would be ready to go today if called upon. We know that won't happen now. And I know closers, just like defensive backs, have to have short memories. But if you're in Jose Valverde's shoes right now, your confidence has to be shaken.
Well, his confidence is definitely shook right now. And the problem is, though, Jim tried to help him out. And call me crazy if you want, but Jim tried to give him an opportunity when he had a 4-0 lead. He was going to give him a chance to go out and hopefully have a 1-2-3 inning so he could build some confidence in Valverde, because he knows he's going to need him down the stretch.
Well, Mario Rada, we get into a closing situation today. I guess the question is, who is Jim Leyland's first pick to come in and get it done?
Well, Mick, I think the logical choice obviously would be Octavio Dotel. He did throw 27 pitches in last night's game, but Dotel probably has the most experience closing games of anybody in that bullpen right now. You could look at Joaquin Benoit, but he gave up that big home run to Billy Butler late in the season in a 9th-inning save situation. Who knows? We may see Albuquerque or Rod. It might be a situation where if we go to the 9th inning, you've got to get a couple of left-handers out. It could even be Phil Koch. So right now, closer by committee seems to be the choice.
You know, I've been told by some of my people in New York, if they do get themselves in a situation where they need a save today, it will be either Dotel or Koch, depending on whether it's Robinson Cano standing in that batter's box or whether they need to get a right-hander out. Koch threw the ball very well in last night's game, 95 with his fastball. You know what Dotel has done all season long. He also has a closer's mentality, so that's exactly who it will be. It will be Dotel or Koch in the 9th inning if they need a save today.
And we do know this, Mick. Jim Leyland hopes he's in that situation where he has to use somebody in a closing situation. We'll see how this game plays out.
All right, Mario. Hey, real quick, help you with my segue. Didn't you say recently you hate the Yankees?
I did say that.
Craig said
several
that
times.
All right, fair enough. Good. Just checking, because, you know, a lot of us do feel that way. But if you don't have respect and appreciation for what Derek Jeter has done in his Hall of Fame career, then you have no soul, man. So even the most diehard Yankee hater might have felt a titch of remorse after watching the captain helped off the field in the 12th inning of last night's game with that fractured ankle. The Yankee captain is done for the remainder of the season, leaving the Bombers no choice but to press on without their inspirational leader.
We got to move on. I mean, we have to find a way to get it done. You know, I think some people left us for dead when Mo went down. And here we are in the ALCS. And Jeet's going to tell us, let's go. I mean, that's what he's going to tell us. And, you know, I'm sad for him because I know how much he loves to play and play in these type of situations. But he would tell us, let's go.
So without the captain, here's how the Yankees will go this afternoon. Ichiro will lead off. He'll be counting on to pick up the slack. He's coming off a 4-hit performance, making him the first Yankee to do so in the playoffs since Jeter went 5 for 5 in the 2006 ALDS against the Tigers. The rest of the Yankee lineup is struggling, though. A-Rod just 2 for 19. Cano only 2 hits and 28 at-bats. Granderson 3 for 23, and Swisher just 3 for 22. Well, Craig, obviously the absence of Jeter is a big one on a lot of different levels for the Yankees. Even the Tigers have said they'll miss him. You played against Jeter. What does he bring to the game as a competitor, and what does he bring out of you as a player?
As a player, one of the greatest leaders of all time, Mick, in history of sports. I have the opportunity to be at second base and talk to him. He's always playing and hitting on you, pushing you off the bag. He's that kind of guy. He's a class act guy. You can hate the Yankees if you want to, but you have to love what Derek Jeter means to baseball.
You know, Derek Jeter is one of those guys that I had a chance to meet when I was coaching for the Florida Marlins. This was very early in my coaching career. I was coaching in the Arizona Fall League, and Derek Jeter was my shortstop. So I had a chance to watch how he went about his business every single day. He was a teenager at that time. And to think what he's done the next 20 years of his career in that spotlight in New York is remarkable. One of the best human beings I've ever met.
The last time the Yankees played a game without Derek Jeter, October 8th, 1995. SEMO wasn't even shaving there. All right, up next on the big show, we'll talk about a cabbie in New York, and not the kind that'll whip you through the streets of Manhattan in an aromatic Crown Vic. No, we're talking about the Tigers cabbie and the ride he's about to take the Tigers on when we continue from the Coliseum studio.
Look at his numbers against Kuroda, 4 for 9. He's got a couple of bombs against him. You would expect that sooner or later Miguel Cabrera is going to start to break loose and maybe put up some big numbers.
Well, let's take a look at Miguel Cabrera's body of work in the postseason this year. For the most part, everybody's been crowding him inside. He's been fighting off lots of pitches, but he's been fortunate enough to get on the base path. 17 consecutive postseason games he has been on the bases with the Tigers. 18 today, and he ties Hank Greenberg, another one of those records where he and Hank Greenberg are associated with one another. But everybody's been crowding him inside. He's been fighting off some pitches, but here's what Cabrera might look to get today. Here's Hiroki Kuroda. He saw him a couple of years ago in a Dodgers uniform. He took him deep to left on a good sinking fastball inside. So the next time they met, he knew he was going to get something out of the heart of the plate, and he hit one where the grass doesn't grow. They grow ivy up there. And then he gets another pitch outside away from Cordova and rips a double to left center field. So Miguel Cabrera has been tremendous against Cordova, and it's about time that he kind of gets loose here in the game today.
All right, Mick, we know this. Win or lose, I think there's a pretty good chance we'll be talking about Miguel Cabrera on the postgame show today.
Yeah, safe to say, guys. That's a given every day, isn't it? Miggy's bat hopefully doing damage for the Tigers this afternoon, and Miggy's bat can also be a nice addition to your sports collection. You still have a chance to get your hands on this bat, officially licensed by Miguel and Major League Baseball, commemorating Miggy's Triple Crown season. The offer is limited to 5,000 individually numbered bats. It's $110 plus shipping and handling. Call 866-280-BATS or log on to BigTimeBats.com. Well, Tiger starters have been lights out so far in this postseason. Today, it's up to Anibal Sanchez to continue the trend. We'll look ahead to his Game 2 start when Tigers Live continues.
Your ticket to the Tigers postseason is on Fox Sports.
All's well that ends well. We didn't see it ending in that particular fashion, but this series, only one game in, shifted dramatically a couple of times last night.
We could easily fold it right there after giving 4 runs and lost momentum, but our bullpen did a great job. We stuck around and got some guys on base and some clutch hits. So, I mean, this team is gritty and got guts, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
It's game by game. You can't think about just because we won tonight that we won everything. It's got to go game by game. We got to think about tomorrow. We got to win. I mean, everything. Every game counts as important. Every game we play against New York is important. You know, you got to remember they got a great team. They got a great players. So you got to go, you know, out by out and day by day.
It's a big momentum for us, you know. Letting them get away from us in the 9th and then just staying strong, you know, competing, you know. All our hitters, you know, coming up big in the 12th. You know, Dotel did a great job, came in, shut it down. You know, we just keep fighting, you know. Now we 1-0, have a big one tomorrow and then take it back to Detroit.
So yes, it was a short night, Mick, but it's a great day for baseball here. Sunny and 70 degrees in the Bronx right now, and the outlook for the Tigers is sunny because if they can steal this one here today, they know they've got JV pitching Game 3 on Tuesday back home.
All right, John, thank you very much. John Keating heading into the Tigers clubhouse after today's game to gather all the post-game reaction for Tigers Live. So, guys, the Yankees are down a game in this series. They don't have Derek Jeter. What kind of team do you expect the Tigers will face this afternoon, Craig?
They've got a lot of veteran guys on that team, and this could be one of those deals where they root. They